What's up, you guys? It's CB, and it's been a while. 2023. We haven't done a relationship dynamics in a very long time. So it's been a hiatus because, long story short, we've been doing a lot of changes on the Play No Games podcast. And I thought when I returned to RD that I had to bring the heat. So just as Play No Games is evolving, RD is evolving. So I am your lovely, lovely host, Cartier Bomb, and this is my panel.
Stephanie.
Cage.
Ashley.
Do y'all feel this energy? Do y'all feel this energy? And before we start anything, I want to say thank y'all for coming through. And what relationship dynamics is about is really bridging the gap between people and the nonsense of what real dating and real relationships look like. This show is all about disagreeing, but no disrespect. So by all means, bring all of that because there's a lot of perspectives that people really don't have and know. So please share that, the good, the bad, the ugly, because we learn and grow together. So with all that being said, I think the perfect way to start things off with these individuals is we gotta get a shot.
Yo,
And I'm gonna pass it to Cage to bless this first.
Are we praying? Is that what?
Sure.
No.
Let's do it.
No. To good vibes. Let's do this. I'm not one of those people that have like a cheers locked up, but no, I'm happy to be here. This is gonna be exciting. We back. Let's get it.
Back outside.
Cheers.
Back outside.
Back outside, boys.
Back outside. Salute. Ooh. I hope y'all caught that.
That wasn't a shot making us shake. Yeah. Ooh.
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 Yeah. Fire.
Man. Superman just stepped out the booth. Clark Kent, 9 to 5.
Shades by AOD.
Yeah. Shades, yeah.
Shades by AOD.
Before we get started with anything, do y'all want to do any shout outs? Because I know there's people who do wonderful art. We got clothing. We got modeling. All the things. Before we go, because people should know what y'all do besides give great information. Great knowledge.
I think I would just keep saying support local. Support local. I think ever since COVID, that was something we were like, yo, we gotta support people. We saw so many stores and things close down. So it's like support your people, versus going all the way to New York's and let's start here. Let's build our people here and then
Brown and black.
Exactly.
Come support me at my nail shop, Capital Nails, out there, Southwest Barber Boulevard, 10075. Southwest Barber Boulevard. Come support local. Come to the nail shop. Men and women, children as well.
We'll have that all in the box. So before we ease into things, I want to get into a would you rather, and we don't have to go down the line. Just whoever it speaks to the most. But would you rather? How can I say this? Would you rather go on a surprise date or a planned date?
Let's keep it spontaneous. Let's do the surprise date. Let's do the surprise date.
Why?
I don't know. Just it's I don't know. I think I'm one of those people where it's like, you only live once. Let's just, why do you want to plan and overthink, and all of that? So let's just, whoever's setting it up, hopefully they have your best interest in heart. They know what, you're attracted to or what you like in a person. So, if it was you, I trust that you'd bring me someone. I have faith in you.
It's legendary. I'll just say that.
Yeah. So
I have great reviews.
It's just more exciting because then you guys can. I feel like it opens up the door to more conversation. Like, what are we doing here? This is wild. And then for you guys to click, and I think all of us can relate somehow. No matter color or shape, whatever it is, background. I feel like we can always find something if we get through just all the conversations. So there must be something there where you're like, okay. That's me. That's what I think.
I think a
They're like,
surprise.
no.
I think a surprise date. It sounds. I'm literally split down the middle. I mean, a surprise date sounds fun. You both are coming with. You can't really have any expectations because you don't know what to expect. But then I think about anxiety. What should I wear? Where are we going? Blah 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 blah. So because of that, I'm like a planned date over a surprise date. Because when that anxiety kind of starts kicking in, the surprise sounds good initially. It's easy to say yes initially, but yeah, no.
Yeah, for me,
Let's plan that out, my
first
G.
date, I want to know a little bit what to expect, and like you said, the wardrobe for me is really important to like be physically comfortable and whatever I choose. I'm not trying to go in heels and we're gonna be like dirt bike riding or whatever. So I like to know what to expect at least, like in the beginning, for sure.
Second, third, fourth, fifth, seventh, all those could be surprises.
Yeah.
But that number uno, let's plan that out.
Some
honey.
predictability.
I'm not gonna lie. I think surprise dates are earned, like, cause you gotta like get to know a person, but a nice, well, like, planned date. I feel like you can tuck a surprise in a planned date. Where like, the free game I want to give y'all is like, if you've been talking to her, a chick for a little bit, pick up that one thing she, she like really vibes with, and then, bam, y'all pals bookstore. You already got the book bought.
Oh.
She was like, you pay attention like that? Like,
oh, you listen.
We happy listening.
That boy's got the notes saying, okay, Michaela, okay, Jennifer, okay, she likes. Wait. Yo, cut that out.
Hey,
Cut that out.
Legendary dates. He did say that.
But I want you to know, I definitely feel what y'all saying. We're like, cause like it's either or, because like I guess the either or really, like, in the essence of it comes from like, because like kind of like driver conversation, because social media is very black and white thinking. It's like it's either this or it's either that, because like in the combination of all of our answers is like, the greatness of like what dating and what life is. It's like, how do I live in between? Because there's like certain things you're like, hell no, I ain't doing that shit. But like, well, are you willing to try? Because you never know, and it takes that person to potentially bring that out of you when it's two people trying.
No, for sure.
Stop it. I'm just nobody. I'm a nobody.
Better zoom in for that.
No, so I actually want to get into our very first topic. How do you communicate priority in dating and in relationship? And some background in that is, so many times in dating, we're all busy. And it's hard to, give each other time. Now, allegedly, my experience on these apps is different than some of my female counterparts, because I hear they get exhaustion about like, who do I prioritize? Who do I talk to? And like, sometimes we find ourselves being like, I'm too busy. And sometimes that could potentially be I'll say in quotations, cop out. But so I'm just curious, how do y'all define priority in dating or in relationships? And I'll just say this: you can out yourselves if you're dating or in relationships. That's all I'm saying. So, yeah.
Who's gonna start? Who's going first?
Oh,
you ready?
I mean, I don't know. I think like if I'm feeling the person, I'm gonna make time for them. Everybody's busy. Everybody's busy. Everybody's got the same 24 hours. It's how you um maneuver that. Maneuver that. Like I've dated people who are really busy, but sending like a little meme or a 3-minute phone call or hey, I'm listening to the song and it remind me of you. Like it's like you can make time and you can it's really about like showing effort, right? That I think says a lot. I, when somebody says I'm too I mean, I haven't really heard anyone really tell me like I'm too busy for you. It's about like their actions. For sure. I dated somebody once where I was telling them I'm too busy, and he stopped me. He's like, nobody's too busy. You either make time for me or you don't, you know. And so, after that, I'm like, yeah, that's it's totally true. And if I'm telling myself that I'm too busy to talk to this person, then to me, that's a sign that I'm probably not that interested.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I see that. So when it comes to like my dating history, I've had like long distance relationships, and when you're gonna have long distance relationships, like you have to communicate. You have to, first of all, I mean, I've done it over different time zones, so you have to understand like when my day is done at 4 p.m., 5 p.m., that person is staying up until 4 a.m. just to get 2 3 hours with me of a FaceTime call. So I know that people, that's that priority comes in. But even if the person's in the same time zone or whatever, but like maybe different city, it's just like I know time can be made. I get it. I know people. There's people that especially right now, everybody wants to have like many different streams of income, so they're getting pulled in different directions, which makes sense. But I don't think people are asking for a whole day of conversation. If you can take 30 minutes out of your day, out of the 24 hours, like to me, that's, it's pretty simple. And then once again, like I said, like if you ever feel like you're too busy and you can't make time for someone, then it's like, or you don't really want to, then it's like, okay, I don't really like that person as much. I remember when I was young, I was always like, okay, I'm only going to get into a relationship with people that I'm obsessed with. I have to be obsessed with her, and want to talk to her all the time. So if I don't have that, then everybody was just falling into like, okay. Like, why am I not that excited? Because I had this idea that once I get into the relationship, the honeymoon phase is done, then I'll like her a lot because I've stepped down from obsession. You know what I mean?
Oh my god!
So that's like, but versus me going in and saying, "Oh, I like this girl. I think she's cute. She's cool." And then once the honeymoon phase is done, I'm gonna be like, that's annoying. Like, why are you touching me? Yawn.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so that was, I mean, obviously we get all this stuff, but like that it's not obsession anymore, but it's just like someone that you look at and you're like, okay, I want to marry that person. Like there's something about that. I don't know how I'm gonna get her, but like that's the one. And doing, what you need to kind of put yourself in a position where you guys are talking.
I'm gonna talk some shit about that. But like, I want you to know, literally, that was like tested in me in like the last like 2 years of like talking to people, like sliding in DMs, all that other shit, things like that. Where
you be.
Let us know how you've been living these past 2 years.
I'm just saying, like, the right person makes everything else that you were doing like insignificant. Like that obsession. At first, I was gonna bullshit with you, but I'm just kind of like, as a dude, I think I know what you're talking about. You're like, damn, like, man, I was really talking to these people. Like, I really wasn't like in tune and paying attention, and like it informs like I wasn't being self-aware. Where I'm like, I was, like that. Like I know you're being like facetious, but like the obsession is like, oh, I'm not that invested. So I really appreciate you saying that, because I'm like, I like when you were saying that, I was like, I'm about to make some jokes about this. So I was like, damn, he's actually speaking the truth.
I want to go in because like I disagree with you.
What?
Yeah, I do. I do. And I kind of felt like I was being outed when you gave me your example. I was like, yo, exposure. First question, my G exposed me already. Because if you checked up my phone, I have sent so many messages of, I'm too busy. And I think, like, yeah, yo.
All right,
say more, please.
If you guys are watching, guys and girls, whatever goes.
Tell us.
R.I.P.
Back
guys.
outside.
Listen.
R.I.P.
I definitely have, and there may have been some responses after that, but it's like I'm not even going to look at the responses, or I'm not going to respond because I'm too busy. So for me, when it comes to priority, and it's because the phase that I was in, like I just recently completed my like software developer certificate, It was rigorous. It was challenging. Yeah. Hello. Nail shop and software engineer. Sprinkle, wink, wink.
You got the tennis bracelet anklet. Y'all better come with the respect.
Yeah. That's Amazon, y'all. Not so much on that though. No, but
below.
so while I was going through the coding boot camp and just going through regular life, that boot camp literally was a boot camp. I feel so army strong. So my capacity, my mental and emotional capacity, I mean, of course I want it to be, can I still say I'm recently single, or is it no more recent?
No, it's not recent.
It's not recent no more.
She's over him. You guys are good.
Listen. But still, like, and still, like, going through the process of getting over my last relationship and being in this boot camp, I wanted to be outside, but not in the streets.
When a rich nigga wants you. Sorry. I am so sorry. That was a Hennessy White.
No.
I am so sorry.
Honestly, like, I feel like we should be around shot two right now.
Yo,
wait, cut that part out.
listen.
Okay, so yes, I was that person who used to send messages, who has sent messages, I'm too busy, because I literally did not have the mental, emotional capacity. And I would meet these pretty cool dudes, like, and I would have somewhat interest and I would have like an attraction. But when it comes to having the capacity to put in the work, because relationships are work, whether it's talking, dating, sneaking, linking, listen.
It's work.
It is work. To figure out if you have compatibility with a person on any level, like, that's kind of work. So I sent those messages. I didn't have capacity, and I didn't want to force anything. It's just stuff. It just wasn't lining up, and I realized, okay, I really need to focus on myself right now. Like, I really need to be in my own little. I need to be a hermit for a second and spend time with me. Like, if I want to go on a date, I need to go on a date with myself, or hit up a friend. Like, you know. But I don't have these romantic or whatever. Like, I'm too busy. You're just not a priority right now. Like,
And that's great.
and you're always gonna be there.
That's
like
direct communication.
Especially these homeboys. These homeboys be waiting. They be waiting.
No,
waiting on the.
I want to show y'all some of these messages, but like,
Yo.
listen, waiting.
Yeah. So I guess that's when it's a little bit different for us, because I feel like women aren't always as persistent. You know, it happens sometimes, but usually it's going to be us that are persistent. You can reject, the guy many times and he'll still, like, 2 years later, oh my gosh, you look cute. Exactly.
Because shoot or shoot.
Shooters gonna shoot. Shooters gonna miss. That's all. But yeah,
I feel like a mindset with a guy is like abundance mindset, where I'm like, all right, I'm gonna hear 20 no's, but like, I'm 20 no's, but on my 21st time, like, I always get a bite. Like, so like, I don't mind like taking a lot of shots. I don't mind being like, all right, good morning, because I'm like, one of them thinking good morning is gonna hit because it's consistent, or so like I get it. Exactly.
The odds are in your favor.
Exactly. So like when it comes to like the rejection piece of like, oh, she's really, or maybe she's like coding and she's busy. Homegirl over here at the donut shop, she free, so I'm gonna talk to her, because so it's kind of like, who's biting? So it's like the fisherman mindset, where I'm like, all right, I got my line out.
12 different multiple lines out.
Multiple lines out.
So you got standbys.
I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
Or actually past
You got
Robert.
a Rasta.
Yeah. How do you say you got a Rasta without saying you got a Rasta? Hello? Cartier Bob, come on.
I'll just say this. I appreciate your transparency about that, because I think that's not funny, guys in the back. Anywho. Sprinkle me. I appreciate your honesty with that, because I feel like a lot of dudes have to hear that. We're like, that's just a part of the game. That's a part of the game.
100%.
I don't know how you feel. I was about to call you something else. It's just like, there's certain dudes I just can't like go out with, because I'm kind of like, you're scaring the girls. Like, you don't understand the game. Like, she's gonna say no, and that's okay. And you're like, why are you really mad like that? You know, he's just in the
Yeah.
corner.
Why is it coming off to, oh, you ugly anyway? Or like, come on.
Yo,
guys.
yeah, and it's like,
It
Yeah.
can
oh,
become dangerous to say no to men, and that
it can,
for
it
real,
definitely
100%.
can.
Yeah. So
I mean, I think for me, it's also like there's an aspect of social cues, and there's certain important, especially that there's a type of people that don't pick up on social cues a lot. So like you can say, oh no, like I don't look at you like that, but they'll still like put in work. Even women do this as well, but
Yeah.
so which is crazy.
Yeah,
And I'm like, how does this person not get it? Whereas with me, like if I'm like trying to hang out, and it's something that I'm trying to work on now because I, like meeting people that are like too busy.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so this person's too busy. When we met, we were like, the vibes were nice and stuff. And then now it's like, okay, so this person is too busy. I'm gonna try this one more time. If not, okay, I'm good. And like I'm a Capricorn, so I can really cut you off. Like, it's easy. And like, I see you around, and when you're done with being busy, and like now you want to like spend time or do things, it's hard for me to be like, okay, now I'm gonna come back because like, damn, I don't want to
energy.
go back again.
yeah,
But it's something that I'm trying to work on because like two of my best friends, how to enjoy it, like they are the type that are able to understand that people are busy. It's always been hard for me, like, wait, you liked me, how are you too busy? This doesn't make sense. You know
for
what I mean?
you.
Yeah, for me.
They missed that part.
But honestly,
Yeah.
we truly need to change the phrase from being too busy to I don't have capacity.
Yeah.
Because I can easily go out to eat with my friend.
Mm.
This different. The energy is different. The expectation is different. The vibes are different.
You're not being pressured into.
The flow is different. But you somebody that's interested in me, and it's like I might have an interest maybe, but my priorities, you don't really fit what my priorities are right now. And so if I go, I'm forcing myself, and then the work, capacity and work are two key words.
I like that.
When it comes to
That's
like
great.
situations like this, and then also communication. People need to know how to communicate. Like maybe we need to stop saying I'm too busy. Maybe we need to start saying like I just don't have the capacity for this right now.
Yeah.
Or I'm not interested.
But sometimes you are.
Sometimes you
but
are.
that's
But
the thing. Like sometimes you are interested. Like there are some people that are on my line, and I'm like, I have a slight interest in, but I just don't have the capacity to try to figure out
At this time?
Yeah, at this time.
And especially because like your classes were going from like what 6 to 10:30.
Man,
so imagine it's like evening time.
And I'm still working. I'm still doing regular life.
Yeah. So I can imagine like you said, when it's like your friends will expect something different because you can get your lunch break at 7:30 and go do dinner. If that guy that's been hitting you up sees the post, he's going off. He's like, oh, seriously, so you don't have time for me, but you can go whatever.
And then who's this guy?
Who's this guy? Yeah.
That's like, yo.
Yeah, no, I see
That's
that.
my brother, chill.
I want to drop a monkey's wrench. So like, I think, in like guy circles, right? Like the rationalization that we come up with is like, if that was Chris Brown, you gonna make some time. You gonna show up. or if it's Michael B, you gonna find a way to get there.
I mean, but like, how often do they come across you? It's like 7 replicas of y'all. 6 degrees of separation. I'm just saying.
Nah, there's only one case. You can't miss the opportunity.
No, but honestly, I think that rationalization is so crazy, and I just can't understand it. Like, I don't think women think like that, but that's probably being a little too hopeful. Like, I can speak for myself because
I can show you examples.
The way I value like mental and emotional like health and well being, it's like, okay, if Michael B came around one time, he can come around again.
What? I'm gonna invite him. I'm gonna find him. I'm gonna bring him upon and see if that's a dispute.
I think also like having to be honest with yourself about like, do I have the capacity to be dating right now? Like I may want to be dating and I may feel like lonely and want partnership, but at the same time, like right now, my career is priority. And although I want partnership and to not feel lonely, like my career right now is number one. And so like being honest with myself about what is my priority, what are my wants and
And who is your priority?
Yeah. And for a long time that's been me, you know, and like it's hard. It's hard to like date and figure out, you know, who's going to stick around while I'm like busy as hell, and do I have the capacity to you know, explore that while I'm trying to explore myself and my career.
When you said that to me, it made me think of like our current system where like I'm on like the biggest crusade of my life, you know, for the I think 40 is where I'm gonna stop and I'm gonna retire and give it to the next young hot shot when it comes to like connecting and bridging gaps where like I get really like frustrated with our society because we live in a day and age now where it's like the older we get, the older we start families, the older we get, like we're so career focused, we're like it's just like it's like for everyone, like I see you working hard, I see you working hard, I see you working hard. And I feel like the more and more we get career driven, not just you, not to put you on an island, like for all of us, I feel like we're getting closer and closer away from what really make life go. Where like when I'm around all of you, it's so much energy and love where I'm just kind of like, oh, that's why this relationship is so important. And not to saying that not having a partnership is not needed to have a full flowing life, but like to really experience that life, that fruit of life is like really biting into like I've actually found my person. My person fucking gets me. Like I get home and you don't have to have kids. We're like, damn, my boss said this, and you're like, oh, that motherfucker. Yeah. And it's kind of like I feel like the rat race really has fucked up our generation because they're telling us that we're supposed to be doing this thing. Now, there's a lot of
You're supposed to retire by 25.
and there's just a lot of stuff going on where I'm like, we're not getting paid our right wages where it like gets us away from what's the truly best part of the human experience is showing love and creating those romantic, bonds.
Yeah, no, I mean for sure. And I mean, I just think about like, you know, I always throw this out, but like being first gen, like
Yeah, yeah,
seeing my parents not have the income and career that they wanted, like that's important for me to establish before I can like, you know, invest in a relationship. That's part of my livelihood, you know. Something that I wanted to add also was a tip that my sister gave me.
Hey,
She's
hey,
now
hey,
married,
hey, hey,
newlyweds.
hey, hey,
Um,
hey, hey, hey,
but
hey.
you know, I worked so hard on myself and building my character and who I am, and it's just like I gotta work on this, and once I work on that and achieve that, and then I gotta do this, and I gotta be more of this. And she's like, Steph, like the right person is going to like you exactly where you're at.
Mm.
There's no finish line to like become this version of you. The right person is just going to like complement. That's another. My other sister said that they're gonna complement your life. They're not your other half. They're not your other half. They complement your life, and so it's difficult to find that kind of like I want to become that version of me, but also making room for somebody to accept me, flaws and all. You know.
Which flows?
That,
Oh!
that speaks into like when you hear people talk about American culture versus like culture everywhere else in the world, pretty much how we have such individualistic culture, and
No
so
togetherness.
yeah, exactly.
Ubuntu, that's what we call it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Togetherness.
Hey.
It's literally what Rob was saying. Just, that idea of just like, people, the love, and when you see your friendships and you're like, man, that can be enough for, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
the relationships that people give you.
100%.
Yeah.
And that's what it sounds like your sisters are telling you more so like stop being such an individual. Like you're so focused on fixing you and working on you, then like how will you even have the capacity to build and work with someone else when you're like you have to accomplish this, and this. When it's like I know if it weren't for certain friendships, I would not reach certain levels, whether it's in my career, my personal growth, or spirituality, had I not had these friendships. Yeah. And so, like, baby girl has like glowed up like crazy. I know. But a lot of it has to do because of my family and friends.
Yeah,
and
people
so
you're allowed in.
exactly.
Yeah.
And people not just even allowed in, people who were aligned, like who came into my life and like that alignment.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to romance, I do think I don't know, we're so messed up. Like, because we overly emphasize romance, but then we also overly emphasize like being individuals. And it's like you cannot have romance without like a community oriented mindset. Like, how can you be in partnership with someone when your whole focus is yourself?
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
That is why it boggles my mind when people are like, "Oh, I'm this high value dude," or "I'm this independent woman," when I'm just kind of like, "I'm losing brain cells." I'm losing brain cells because no matter how far I've ever gotten in my life, all the things I've ever procured, I had help, I had partnership. I heard people talking about being relationships, but like not building partnership. Our income is together. Our struggle is together, and it just like I see all these different movements, and I'm just kind of like, here we go again. Trap. It's a trap. But what do you call it? I do want to take this segue for our last question of the evening because I know this will be a doozy. So the question I kind of want to end the night with is having a conversation about submitting and committing, because there's a big conversation about how women should submit to men, and then we're going there.
I love it.
And then how women should just commit to men. Now, I just want to set the tone. Already when I said that, people jumping out their seats, all right, cancel gang, let's go. All right, put you head on the thumbnail. He said it right there. He said it.
Screenshot this guy.
He's
so
So I'm just curious. When I say that, what's not mentioned in that conversation? So I can say it again, but y'all heard of that, right?
Run it back.
Yeah, but
I'll
run it back. Yeah.
The essence of men knowing how to commit to a woman, and men knowing and women knowing how to submit to in a relationship. So I'm just curious, where's the difference?
You got that, Steph.
Well, I'm just thinking about the submission part.
Okay.
So one piece at a time.
Yeah.
What I have found in my dating career.
Resume.
Rasta. Is I have found that I am comfortably, and I actually do like to be submissive when it's safe enough to do so. So when my partner is not secure with themselves, and don't make it safe for me to be my soft girl, then I can't fall into that role. It's not safe for me to be submissive. But if you're secure with yourself, you make me like I want to, right?
Oh my God!
I love to do that.
With the vocals.
Yes, hello. I love to do that. That just comes naturally to me when I feel safe and secure. I want to make my partner feel like a king, feel comfortable, because when he feels, yes, totally.
Yeah.
But he's got to also make me feel like I'm his queen. You know what I'm saying? And so that's that part.
Yeah.
So when you talk about commitment, I mean, I'm going to commit to a person who makes me feel like I can be the soft girl. During my 9 to 5, like being a brown woman, you have to be on top of your shit. You have to be a leader. You have to work. When I come home to my partner, I don't want to have to do it. I don't want to have to like lead. I don't want to have to be a fucking egg. Excuse my French.
No,
I
you can
grew
cuss
up
on there.
seeing my parent, like seeing my mama. I love you, mama, but I always said I do not want to become an egg. I don't. And so when I go home, I want to have a partner who can just like confidently lead, and I can just relax and I trust you to lead because you're secure with yourself, right? So that's my piece. Is
Ooh.
You can go.
Okay, so a few things came to mind, and I don't disagree at all, girl. We're on the same page, you know this. But a few things came to mind. So one is this quote I heard: "In order to be, no, every great leader knows when to lead and when to follow." And so submitting is always seen as a woman's role, but sometimes men have to submit as well because it's a partnership. It's not a dictatorship, you know. It's a partnership. So
teamwork.
there are, I mean, you know, we don't want our primary role to be, you know, that leader, like you were saying, or we already have to be on at work. We don't have to come. We don't want to have to come on home and also just be on. Like, if we got into this partnership together, you know your role, I know my role. We know what we're building and why we're building. So, why am I doing your role and my role? I might as well be single, you know. But and then another thing that had came to mind, was values. Like, in order to commit and submit, you guys have to be on the same page about values. You know, like, what are you submitting to? Why are you submitting to it? And where are you committing to? And why are you committing to it? I don't think either or are gender roles. I truly believe that they are like important aspects in a partnership. And sometimes you have to flip flop. As long as I know my main, you know your main.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if you down and out, boo, okay, it's good. I'm gonna hold us up. I'm not gonna hold us down. I'm gonna hold us up. And then when you're ready to come back, like, listen, I did all this for you, so you can come back with ease.
Exactly.
Like, you know,
smooth transition.
Can we both be both a teacher and a student?
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Teacher and a student. Like, can I learn from you, and can you allow me to guide you as well?
Yes.
For both.
And we both have to be humble. Humility is so big, you know.
Sure.
And but then it also goes into like a safe space. Like, I don't know anyone who's going to like submit or be that soft girl if you're with a guy who's just like is not also humble. Like, shows no humility.
Yeah, no, I think for sure. I feel like it's especially. I think traditionally, you know, we know the views on how kind of that was, and now it's like it's 2023. There's so many different changes, and that back and forth where, like, you know, we know our main roles, but you know there'll be times where we can even be submissive. If there's something that you're like, hey, I don't like this, and you shouldn't do this, respect your person and be like, okay, well, I'm not gonna do that. You know what I mean? You know, I feel that I understand how that makes you feel, so I'm gonna respect that, even if I don't think that's what was happening. But I'm gonna do that, and that's a point. But maybe a lot of men aren't willing to do that. You know what I mean? And then vice versa. You know what I mean? And then it also kind of depends on like what you look for in a person. I feel like my mom is very independent. My mom is literally just her whole life has just been us. So like a queen to me, a woman is like that heavy independence. And now it's the first time I'm seeing my mom in a relationship. She's been in a relationship for like just over a year. And now I see the submissive part, and it's like new to me. I'm like, what? You know what I mean? So like,
She's soft. She's
so it all
soft.
so those are things that you have to think about. So when you ever having situations where you're like, man, this person is only looking at this way, you want to look at, okay, how were they raised as well, and what have they always seen? Because now it's starting to affect me. Where I'm like, okay, so actually this can be double ways, you know. But I've only known a strong black woman that has, you know, like you said, the 9 to 5 has to be this leader, and it has to, you know what I mean, constantly fight against, you know, people that are either look different, and then also be a role model to people that are, you know, just like her, and continuously have to do that and to protect us and all of that. So like those are the two aspects where it's just like, okay, but no, I mean, it's so beautiful to watch. And like between me and my brother, I feel like we look at it differently, but for me, I'm just like, get your life, girl, you know, get your life back, girl, like, yo, do you. And also just seeing that, I'm like, it's weird, but I like it because I can see how happy you are that you finally get to like take put your
Relax.
Soft
like
girl
shoes
era.
on. Yeah.
Hello.
Let that guy say like, oh, hey, I don't do that, and I'm like, Mom, what? You wouldn't, you know what I mean? But it's like the person that loves you, they're looking out for you. So it's just it's just one of those phases where you're like, damn, this is a new chapter in my life where I'm learning this part, and I'm like, okay, this is how it should be.
So I'm gonna go ahead and introduce myself. I'm Arthur for this little conversation. I have a question
Big
for y'all.
conversation.
Definitely.
Big energy over here.
I mean,
Big-
y'all
big
bring it all to
gems.
life. I was laughing in
Hello?
the back. It's been nothing but a
Big
joy.
life.
You already know what it is.
Rugby life.
So my question to y'all is, what are some of the things that will make you commit? So like each one of y'all have your own definition of this like submission and commitment. Like, what are some things that will make you submit and commit? What are those things?
Commitment. What comes to mind for me, just like off top, is you gotta add to my life.
Mm.
You gotta make me kind of like convince me to believe that adding you to my life is a plus, because I can do it all on my own, right? But what do you add to my life, right? And like, yeah, like, do you help me make life easier and enjoyable and fun? And do you help me how do you say, be that like inner child?
Mm.
Like, I want a friendship. I want, at the end of the day, when I'm 90 and wrinkly, like, I want to have my best friend.
Girl, we black and
next to
brown. We
me.
age good. We don't get wrinkly till hello.
But I want somebody who I can like be playful with and have fun with and laugh with. So that's what comes to mind for me.
Yeah, I think for me, so I've been in relationships where in the beginning the person was very, like I said, and that's the thing, it's like maybe very independent and less submissive.
Mm.
And then once the feelings start coming in and the dependability starts sneaking in, then this person develops into like a very submissive person, like fully submissive, where it's like, damn, I started liking you because you were so, you were stronger, but and then now it's like, okay, that's all gone out the window now. And now you literally like, and even when we have conversations, it's always like, because I mean, we'll still argue, even though when you're wrong, sometimes you'll be like, yeah, but this is, you know what I mean? It all depends. But to have that person not be able to stand up for themselves and just be okay with whatever, it's just like, okay, so like, man, this kind of sucks. Like, I miss that strong person that I caught feelings for in the beginning. You know what I mean?
To have a balance of submissive and also their own voice.
Yeah, 100%. I think that needs
That's
to
dope.
really be consistent, even when the feelings come in. But it's so tricky because it's like, man, this person might have been a submissive person, but like the world, especially for women right now, like you have to be strong all the time. So it's like, man, as a guy, I'm like, okay, why is that? Like, why are you giving in now? But it's like you feel safe now.
Yeah.
Like you said, you feel safe.
The inner child.
Yeah, you feel like 100% safe, and that's why so it's either I don't need to look at it differently, or that consistency needs to kind of stay, within that relationship.
But
That's
vice versa. So like, for example, for y'all ladies, like your fella's very headstrong and y'all ramming, y'all bumping heads, and it becomes this like casual, but it's still like you saying, this on the top. Is we not giving in, and then all of a sudden your man becomes a lot more submissive to you, and he becomes more care for you, cater to you in the opposite perspective, right? So doing the things that you're like, oh wait, hold up, wait, you doing that for me? Wait, time out.
Mhm.
How does that make y'all feel in the flip side of that?
I need a balance of, I can't take a yes man, whether that's a woman or man or anybody. I don't want you to, that's that old saying of like, happy wife, happy life, and you just like tell the woman that she's right all the time. I don't believe in that. I'm wrong sometimes. But can you tell me that I'm wrong lovingly, right? Can you call me out on my BS with grace and compassion and sternness, So, having a balance of like, accountability.
Mm.
being able to take accountability for when you're wrong, but also being able to comfortably call out your partner when they ain't doing it right. You know?
You want that, that kiss on the forehead, babe. You were wrong there. Come like, no, but I
Yeah.
wasn't. Like, babe, come on, I love you, right? You know what I mean?
You make it safe enough for me to admit that I was not right.
Versus an aggressive, nah, screw that. You were, yeah.
So so the ramming head aspect of your example, I'm not an argumentative person. And then if you are an argumentative man, like that's a trigger for me, and like, we just don't need to go there. So I do. If I get any sign like, oh yeah, no, cool,
Capricorn.
I'm out. Because if I really go there, like you're shit out.
You might
Love your question because I was so super me. I'm like the oldest, and I have all these brothers, and like I'm super independent. I was mad, strong, independent. Without even trying to be, I just naturally was that way. And then my last relationship, we always talk about like soft girl era, but we also have to give room for like soft boy era. 100%. So my last relationship, he was the romantic. We never argued, like, and I am an a-hole, not intentionally, but I'm spoiled, and so I can just be a real a-hole. But through his soft love and through his like how he paid attention, how he romanticized me, things like that, I would be in the middle of doing something or saying something or call myself like catching an attitude, and I would stop and apologize literally in the middle of. I wouldn't even finish my sentence. I would be like, "I'm so sorry. I'm just being an a-hole right now. Like, I'm gonna chill out." Like, but it was through his soft love that I was like realizing where and how we're opposite, and realizing like how I'm just in the wrong.
He could see through your defensiveness.
Yes,
and
he saw. He ignored all of my. I am so. This is me being vulnerable on a podcast. No,
Yo,
listen, this
She doesn't miss him. It's X.
It's X.
But like for that example, right? Going through soft men and soft women, and we have these quote unquote roles that each individual is supposed to play. Like, what tapers to your heart more? Like, you talking about you want traditional, steadfast. I'm a fall passive. I want something strong. What else? Like, what the tapers to your heart? Like, what do you want? You want a soft woman, someone. Since you said you was raised a certain way, you want this. You want this firmer.
Yeah, because even me with the person that raised me like that, we clashed a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like shit. Like, where do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think just for the longest time, and I know I've been talking to you about it, saying like I think just this next chapter, I want someone that's gonna be. I think a lot of the time, I think I've been in a relationship that went for a long time, and that person was pretty strong and had that balance. So I need to find that versus going for like the very doesn't want to do anything, like innocent, you know what I mean, person. That's like, because then it's like, I feel bad even telling this person like, let's go do this, or I'm gonna go do this, because they're not gonna want to do this with me. So it's finding somebody that is like able to like can have fun together, but we're also able to like we have our shit together, and we can be like, okay, we're not gonna do this, let's just chill in and do, you know what I mean. So but yeah, this next chapter of me, especially with regards to dating, is me going towards someone that is gonna be able to just experience stuff, become, like how you said in your 90s, whatever, you want someone that you can still be a kid with. I need to find that. I can always find that within my friends. When I look at both of them, I find that in like my female friends, but I never find that in my partner. My partner is completely different. And then, I'll be dating someone, and they're like, oh, yeah, I don't like your friends, or my friend, you guys will be like,
yeah,
I don't know.
What you doing with this?
Yeah. So it's like, and I, I'll have like my, female friends just so that I can also like try learn more. I also have my friends that are in relationships. I'll go to, skiing with them to be around a couple and be like, okay, shit, I'm taking notes.
Know?
Being able to compromise, being able to do this, it's like beautiful to watch, just to try, make myself the perfect person for that, individual.
So you said something that for me, I'm gonna come back to you. You said something to me that I steer far away from. Is trying to make yourself the perfect person to someone else, because now you're compromising yourself in order to be with someone else. And at the end of the day, it's not a compromise. it's a come together. We're gonna agree to disagree in aspects, yes, but at the end of the day, I love you, and we're gonna work through this. We're gonna find a middle ground. We're gonna carry forward. So it's like, how do we challenge each other to be? Y'all talked about some individuality. Y'all don't like the individuality, but for me, and my perspective is, we are individual as a whole. And if you love yourself, you know what love is. And so if you can give yourself the same love you can give someone else, then you know from the bottom of your heart, I'm giving you all that I have. And in that same compromise, you're gonna meet somebody where you're gonna meet them. And that's when you talk about that companionship. That's that filling that void. You got something that I ain't got. Almost like people don't want to
Fill
say
my
business
cup.
exchange. You know what I'm saying? People
Yeah.
people don't want to say business
People
exchange,
don't wanna
but
say
in
using.
aspects.
But we're Capricorns. Hello.
And longevity though, like
Yeah.
when you think of longevity businesses, it's usually two owners that know how to really work together.
Let's make a contract together about this
Absolutely.
relationship. And it's so
100%.
important to
It's an
audit your.
agreement.
I believe in I audit my friendships.
Absolutely.
I believe you need to audit your relationship because if you got together when you were 23, your wants and needs
I'm a
when
whole
you're
different
32,
person.
yeah,
I'm a
it's
whole
true.
different
what you
person.
want and need. Yeah, well, not you are who you are at your core self. Your
Sure.
Absolutely.
but
I've evolved.
exactly, you evolve.
Your priorities change, things around you change, people change around you. Something happened drastically in your family or impacted something in your life.
Or you
that's
started
changed-
going to therapy, and all of a sudden stuff got on.
Absolutely. Some came out the rug. So it's all those things, and I think you have to challenge yourself to be yourself authentically within your heart. And I
Yes.
think that expression of who that is going to attract who is feeling that same expression. But we got to get back to you on finding your compromise. These other two kind of brought up, like, you want the softie, you want the hard ass, you want what is your ultimate kind of individual in that aspect?
I want a whole person.
Mm.
I want somebody who's whole. Like,
What does that mean?
I want the yin and the yang. I want somebody who's in touch with themselves. I want someone who I am compatible with. I want someone who we have mutual values and goals and things. Like, cause I don't. Yeah, okay, be the soft man air or whatever, but yeah, also be independent and also be hell of an introvert if that's who you are right now, or be hell of an extrovert. Like, I want a person that's a whole person. So often we come across people, and maybe us ourselves. Like, I'm not always operating in my full self. I want a whole person. I want a full person. Okay.
So again, because I don't think that answers my question. You said
What
you
was it?
want a whole person.
I wanted to
Yeah.
know,
What
have you
is-
ever
what
found
is
that?
that whole person? What does that whole person look like? It doesn't have to be physical appearance, but
Mhm.
what does this whole person offer to you? This
That would make you commit.
Absolutely.
Oh, that'll make me. So first of all, I want someone who will commit to me, who wants to commit to me. And I want someone who is better. Okay, yeah. Okay.
Someone that's better, you say?
Hello,
What?
hello. Okay, so when you had answered that question, you said something that has stood out to me. You said you want someone to convince you to commit, and I want a person who's about action. So I want someone to prove and have evidence and receipts. Like, I want someone who can, like Nip Hustle say, be 10 toes down. Like, if you say it, be about it and do it. Like, that's what I mean by. That's what I mean, like a full person, like someone who they value themselves, they value their word, and so then it's easy for me to value them in their word, and in that way, I kind of look up. I want someone I can look up to. You look up to me, I look up to you. I want someone who's like, yeah, they could be an asset in my life, but I also want to be able to be an asset in their life because it's not a partnership at that point. And so it's like, why would I commit to you when you're benefiting me, but I'm not benefiting you? Like, at some point, you don't want to cut me off or have resentment towards me or, something. So that's what I mean when I want something that's mutual or somebody I can have like mutual values.
Do you think you can still find someone like that with the soft boy era, or do you think it's dead there?
That's a good question.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like, be independent, but also be able to live in your best soft man air. Because I don't think it's dead there. Like, duality, intersectionality. Like, I'm so big on getting in tune with the different aspects of me. And I'm not always this soft. You know, you might see me dressed today all cute, and then tomorrow you might see me dressed in some sweatpants, a
Cornrows.
beanie, a corn. I mean, you
Do-rag
might
on.
be like, look that little boy over there. Oh wait, that's Ashley.
Creed 4.
Yeah. Listen, the nail's still gonna be long, but listen.
I wanted to add something. In my dating career,
Resume again. Rasta.
I have learned, and even like through friendships too, kind of a way that I've measured, is this for me or not? Is, do I like the person I become when I'm around them? Like, do I like me?
Yes.
When I'm around this person, like when I'm with Sage, I fall more in love with myself.
Yeah.
Because he brings out, he's the number one hype man, 100%.
Come on.
You know? But he helps me love myself more.
Yes. It motivates you.
100%.
And inspires you.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Somebody you can admire.
Who helps me admire myself.
Yeah.
You know? Because at the end of the day, like, even though we're in a union, like, you still came to this earth by yourself, and you're gonna leave by yourself. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, like, I'm not gonna go out with you. And so, do I still have my own identity? Kind of what Homeboy was saying, like individuality within the union. Do I still have me at the end of the day? And I want you to help me get to know myself more throughout life.
Wow. I'm not AJ. I'm CB. Hey, we back. I'll just say this, because I appeared back in here because we're having such a dope conversation, and I'm not gonna lie, I like this lineup. I would love this lineup back here again. There's a nice balance of ratchetness with realness. I would love to have this back because, like, the real essence of why I really want to, like, not just from like a podcasting level, just like nobody really knows how to talk about relationships. And like, I look at so many podcasts, so many relationship gurus, and I'm like, don't get me wrong, I want the money, but like, I actually want to provide a service. And like, I heard so many like wealths of knowledge, like I was like swelling up in the background. I was kind of like, damn. I'm like, damn. Like, this is a real conversation that can be archived, because I really hope people come back to watch individually what you said, what AJ said, what I've said, because life is a feeling process and everyone's trying to be perfect. Yeah. Life and relationships aren't perfect.
Exactly. Yeah.
I talk a lot about this so much I'll say in the therapy session about natural relationships. And a natural relationship is some flourish, some don't. And I don't want your relationship to have a man-made disaster, meaning I want you to know that you did this and they did this at 100%. So why are you putting yourself in that situation? So let this naturally die or let this naturally grow. And I feel like what gets in a lot of our ways is not having these natural conversations, because everyone else is trying to be like this.
Yeah, kind of just like what you were saying, your sister said, with regards to you wanting to be perfect before you come. So yes, I think there'll always be that one thing where you're like, okay, this thing needs to change before the next relationship, right? I feel like with myself, there's like that one thing, but the other stuff are like little small things, which I feel like, that's kind of part of me. And if I wait, like constantly trying to change all of that stuff, then you'll be single forever. You know? And that's why I also said when AJ was here, the importance of, like, I have friends, Kaya and Daphne, they just got a house, and I'll spend time with them, and like, it's not always like fun and stuff, but it's just like you get reminded in your head when you're at your house and they're telling you what they're doing and all these achievements. You're like, oh man, like that's perfect. But spend time there, then you see like, oh, they don't agree with stuff. In your head, you think they always agree. No. And when you when you don't have parents that were married, I have to come up with that, because my parents that ended when I was 7 to 10 years old. So in my head, yes, marriage is perfect because I watch movies and whatever it is, and it always ends up perfect. But when the more, if you can have friends and stuff that are in relationships and you spend time with them, go do that
Yes.
third wheel. You don't want to, people like, they don't want a third wheel. Go third wheel, and you'll see that, like, okay, shit, okay. So I wasn't that far off.
Oh,
I
in
treat.
close us out. Close us
I
out.
did.
Oh.
Why you do
No,
that?
I'm
Why you
so
do
much.
that?
I'm so much saying, bro. I'm so
We gotta
much
get the people
saying.
reason to come back. That's why these are short. That's why these
Hey,
are short.
the same way
Close
you
us
spin
out,
a
ladies.
block on
Close
that
us
sneaky
out.
link, spin a block on us.
No. I do gotta say this.
Yeah.
It's like when you have many of us haven't observed healthy relationships, healthy couples. When you have friends or you know a healthy couple, interview them. Ask them what they like about one another. Ask them how do they fight? How do they argue? Because there's a way to
How do you
healthily
resolve?
argue.
keep
And
things
how, what do y'all like about each other? What do you do when you don't like your partner? You love them, but you may not like them all the time. And one thing I want to say too is like everything that I've been saying. I've had days too where like I've had breakups, I've had heartbreak, I've had nights where I'm sobbing. Like everything that I'm saying today is through experience, but it's also like cost. Like I've had to work on myself and heal wounds in order to get where I'm at here today. So it ain't all sweet and it takes work. Um, but I feel like when you heal yourself, you're gonna find that right partner, that yin to
My closing statement is hi you
Better be
guys.
good.
Hi. Hi. So I truly, like I said this earlier, we overly romanticize relationships. We get so caught up on the theory of being in these grandiose romantic relationships, but we have no actual practice. I tell my friends, even my friends who are married, like we're married. So I don't divorce easily. Like if we have a disagreement, we're working through this disagreement. If we want to have good times, let's figure out how to have good, like how everyone wants to be in these romantic relationships with no practice. And if you have people around you, like stop looking at marriage, first of all, as a final step in life, but also stop looking at it as something, stop fantasizing about it so much that it never becomes actual practice. So when you get into it, you don't know how to argue, you don't know how to resolve. You realize all of your ideations come from movies and things, and when it's not working out like it's supposed to in the movie,
You quick, ready to go.
okay, or you stay thinking I got this person and this is my best option. So since my first best option is going to be my last option, nah, but there's a lot of them out there. Chill out. Like you got good is always better. That's it. It's called elevate. But
I just can't do this. Sometimes it makes me want to cry. Ooh, ooh, ooh. What you do to them men?
no, but truly,
Homicide.
I am married to my friends, and my friends know that we are married, and so, and I expect all my friends treat me the same way you would treat that person you're married to. Like, don't come treat some stranger, or somebody that's in your head, That's what I mean by stranger. Somebody you never met better than you treat actual relationships, actual friendships. So I say practice the friendships.
I'm not gonna lie.
Conclusion.
I'm glad that I waited 6 long months to get the very first one out. Like, this has so much mileage. I want this to be archived. I want all 3 of y'all back. like, there's so much wealth of knowledge and experience here. Because, once again, I have to say this because the romanticizing of like what it looks like on your relationship journey. We talked about situationships, the marriage, the dating, to I should be working on this. I am doing this. I don't agree with that. And I feel like that's how any relationship, podcast, story should go, because everyone's held to these standards where, like, if I do it like Beyonce, let me tell you, you can't do it like her because that's in a whole different tax bracket and like that lifestyle is different. There's a lot of people who needed this, and I want to say thank y'all. I would love to have y'all back. We have 5 dope perspectives on here. This has been
Thank you for having us.
a wonderful experience.
Yes.
Thank you,
It's
thank
real
you.
gangy. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, this is Cartier Bob. Hopefully next time I do this, I may have a Cartier, bracelet. Who knows? I gotta match the what I'm doing. This, please do.
Oh yeah.
This has been Relationship Dynamics. I'm CB, and this has been our latest installment. Peace.
Probably wondering if I think of you. Sorry, I'm for the bag right now. Yeah, I'm for the bag right now. Yeah, for the bag that I never had. Yeah, you probably mad right now. Yeah, I got a 2-piece now. Shit, I think they call them groupies now.